Welcome to Uwu Reviewuwu. My name is Jess, and this is Weeb Talk 101. Class is now in session. Japan is a country rich with culture different from pretty much anywhere else in the world, and for that reason, newbies to manga and anime may find themselves confused at certain jargon used both within the otaku community and in Japanese culture in general. I'll go over what otaku means here in just a couple minutes. For this video, I want to go over some of the basic words and phrases used regularly in manga and anime and what they mean. I'm going to do my best to assume no prior knowledge here and create a beginner-friendly space and cover the basics without delving too deep. But if there's anything I gloss over or don't clear up, feel free to let me know in the comments down below and I'll do my best to explain. There are no stupid questions here. On to the topic of words like otaku or similarly weeb or weeaboo, let's start there for the very beginners. In Japan, otaku is pretty much an umbrella term for a nerd or a geek, sometimes with some specificity tacked onto it. People who are geeky about tech, for example, are called Kijutsu otaku, RIP by pronunciation. It can carry certain negative connotations in Japan's work-focused culture, as it can imply that the person in question is obsessed with their interest and detached from reality, thus shunning Japan's button-up culture, or something. Over here in the West, the word is used mostly to describe people interested in manga, anime, and Japanese culture and media as a whole. If you're watching this video, you yourself are probably an otaku or on your way to becoming one. Weeb and weeaboo are sort of similar and are sometimes just used interchangeably with otaku, especially if someone is poking fun at themselves or making a joke at their own expense. Generally, a weeb is someone obsessed with Japanese culture, sometimes to the point of idealizing or even fetishizing Japanese culture, and almost striving to be like Japanese by proxy. There's a difference between having interest and respect for a culture and obsessing over it, making it weird. Don't make it weird. On to honorifics. You may have seen suffixes like san or chan tacked onto the end of a person's name in Japanese media. These are honorifics, and they're used to acknowledge someone's status or relationship in comparison to the speaker. It's often also gender specific, but not always. San is used for someone on equal standing with you. It holds the same weight as Mr., Mrs., or Miss, and is gender neutral and pretty much applies to any age group. Chan is used generally for girls, between close friends, or between lovers who have known each other for a long time. It implies a cutesy nature almost, and you might use this with a female childhood friend. Kun is used for males who are younger than you. Think kiddos like your little brother or students a couple grades below you. This is also used for close guy friends of any age, but you gotta be tight. Sama is very formal but also very diverse in how you can use it. You would use it when speaking to your boss, clients or customers at your job, guests in your home, or any manner of deity, like Betty White. Senpai can be used as an honorific or on its own. It refers to someone of higher hierarchical status than you, such as a classmate a year or two above you, or a coworker who has been at the company much longer than you. Seeing it used in anime, I assumed it referred to just someone that you had a crush on until, like, embarrassingly recently. So don't be like me, kids. Use your context clues. If someone is your teacher or instructor proper, you might use the word sensei instead. Moving on to genres of manga and anime. Anime and manga are pretty unique in that their genres are often heavily divided by their target demographics. Of course, anyone can read or watch anything they want to. The only exception is maybe refrain from things 18 plus if you're under 18 yourself. Ask your parents. Go ask your mom. If your mom says no, go ask your dad, because you know your dad's gonna say yes, because he doesn't really care. Shonen is a manga or anime that's usually targeted towards young boys aged 12 to like 18-ish. They usually include a heavy focus on battles or overcoming obstacles or power of friendship. Naruto, Dragon Ball, and The Promised Neverland are all examples of shonen. For some reason, Komi Can't Communicate, a manga about a shy teenage girl struggling to communicate and make friends, is also a shonen. This has to do with where it's published, which is Weekly Shonen Sundays, but this is a weird exception that you'll just see sometimes. I just think it's neat and like to talk about it. Similar to shonen, shoujo is aimed towards a younger female audience. Themes usually revolve around romance, magic, and lighthearted slice-of-life elements. BT Dub's slice of life refers to manga and anime that follow the simple day-to-day life of the main character. Sailor Moon and Fruits Basket are examples of shoujo, and incidentally, Fruits Basket is also an example of a slice of life. Seinen is a lot like shonen, only grown up, and on steroids, and a whole bunch of weird growth hormones. The usual target demographic for seinen series are men ages 18 and up. Similar to shonen, seinen can include themes like fighting, sci-fi, horror, etc., but are usually more mature, including more complex storylines and psychological themes. Berserk, Tokyo Ghoul, Ghost in the Shell, and Monster are all examples of seinen series. Josei is basically shoujo, but for grown-ass women. They usually still revolve around themes of finding love, but in a more adult and spicy situation, usually meant for those of us 18 and up, either because of explicit content or just day-to-day adult life things that a preteen may or may not be able to relate to, like the ever-looming stress of bills and debt, and your boss not thinking that you're good enough and that you're gonna get fired anytime now, being alone in your 30s. Princess Jellyfish, Honey and Clover, and Wotakoi are all examples of josei titles. Isekai is a manga where the main character is transported into another world, usually a fantasy one, like what you might see in a video game. Or the world is literally a video game with stats and buffs and things like that, you know the drill. This also applies to a series where the character is already from a fantasy world and they get transported into our normal world, but that's not nearly as common. Re:Zero, Sword Art Online, Konosuba, and the film Spirited Away are all examples of isekai in one way or another. Many people regard this genre to be way oversaturated, but me and my 3 brain cells still like them. Yaoi and BL, or Boys Love for those of us who don't love acronyms, both focus on romantic narratives between 2 men. BL tends to be more focused on the romantic aspect of things, while yaoi delves into the more graphic depiction of sexy time. Of course, the line between these two can blur a little. Yuri and GL, or Girls Love, follow the same idea but with female relationships. However, I feel like GL doesn't really get thrown around as much, and it's all just kind of Yuri. And some of my favorites of these genres are Goodbye My Rose Garden and Our Dreams at Dusk. So good. Hey guys, it's Editing Jess coming at you from the future because I realized I made a mistake in that segment of the video. While Our Dreams at Dusk is about LGBTQ plus youth and sort of finding their place in the world and the main character is gay, etc., etc., it is not technically like a boys' love or a yaoi because it's not centered around his romantic relationships. It's centered around like finding yourself as a young queer person, which is also awesome. But if you are looking for a genuine like BL or yaoi title, I would suggest I Hear the Sunspot for anything that is like gushy and cute and romantic, and then anything by the publisher Sublime Manga if you're looking for something spicy. Okay, that was my correction. Bye! Ecchi refers to any content with strong, spicy overtones, usually playful in their nature. Ecchi manga is all about fan service, which is basically the creator of a piece of media going, y'all want titties? I'll give you titties. And these can usually range anywhere from the occasional playful nip slip or panty shot to more than that. 18 plus only here, please. High School DxD is a notorious ecchi manga and anime. Well, that's everything I wanted to go over today. Again, if there are any other words or phrases you've heard in manga, anime, or just within the otaku community in general that I haven't explained here, feel free to hit me up in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer any questions. If you enjoyed this, feel free to subscribe, like, follow my socials for more otaku and manga related content. Bye!